So I brought the K650M with me today. I really love this dozer for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it's the smaller line that Case manufactures, but just because it's small doesn't mean it lacks power. But the biggest advantage to the 650 is this. That's the width of the blade. The blade comes in at about 96 inches. The great part about it is the blade also has the ability to tilt sideways. And because of that, the width of the dozer now is less than 96 inches, which that fact alone allows me to transport it on the highways without a permit. And the dozer itself comes in at about 23,000 pounds. So it allows me to tow it behind an F450 or that type class of vehicle. I personally have the F450 and love it. So let's take a look at some of the features of it. Today I'm using the wide track. This is the 650M WT. The WT means wide track. So why is it called a wide track? Well, you have a number of track options when it comes to a dozer. What you're trying to optimize is the amount of ground pressure and traction. A wider track gives you less ground pressure. What that does, it gives you more float or the ability to float on top of terrain. This would be something you would choose on lighter soil, swampy soil, anywhere that you run the risk of the dozer actually digging too deep into the ground and sinking. A narrow track would be used on rockier soil or harder soil, because with the narrower track, that allows the grousers to actually embed themselves into the soil and give you traction. So it's a mix match of trading traction versus ground pressure, trying to find what that perfect blend is. We're using the wide track today because we are on wet soil today, so I really need the traction and I don't want to sink into the dirt. One of the other features I really like on the 650 is the articulating 6-way blade. This blade has the ability to articulate sideways and also pivot up and down. The advantage to that is it allows me to really rake the blade over at an angle when I'm really wanting to move or transfer dirt. So I'm not just pushing, I'm actually rolling the dirt over and placing it where I choose. This is probably one of my favorite features on the whole dozer. For heavy ground, I've equipped this one with rippers. A lot of times we find in soil here, it is really clay, really tacky. So it's a lot of strain on the dozer to actually rip that or push that dirt over. So we take the rippers to come through, rip the soil first, which breaks it up, and it puts a lot less strain on the front of the blade and also on the carriage pushing and trying to move that dirt. So like I said before, the 650M, it is Case's lightweight dozer. So they consider it primarily a finishing dozer. It is perfect for doing your final finish cuts and your final finish grades on new construction and grading projects of that sort. But like I said earlier, just because it's their lightweight doesn't mean that it lacks the power. For situations where we are today, we are in a very constrained environment. We are on a hillside with a very narrow road. I need the mobility that the 650 gives me that you would lose from a larger or heavier dozer. So we're going to be grading the road. So it does have the push and the power to move the heavy rocks and the stuff that we're going to encounter to get it out of our way. Also, we've got a number of pads that we're going to have to finish up top. So combining its ability with power and the mobility of this dozer, it is a perfect dozer for the hillsides that we're working on today.